Welcome, class of 2027. So this day is not meant to stress you out. Now next week is another story, but today you can get to relax and hopefully just enjoy the day and enjoy this really special ceremony, the capstone to your pre-clerkship. So I also want to welcome our honored guests that are on the stage and sitting around the auditorium. And you notice that we are here in the Community Arts Center. How many of you have been here before in this space to hear the Detroit Medical Orchestra play maybe, or a few people? Not too many. Okay. Well, I'm a Wayne warrior all the way through. I was undergrad here and medical school, so I love this space, and I think it serves our purpose perfectly today because it's a community arts center, it's a community space, and that's what today is really about, is to bring you all back together after this probably what was a strenuous stretch for most of you. I know some of you took step in January, some kind of recent. So some of you might have been coming back from Europe 2 months. Others of you might have just screeched in the door here today. So whatever the case, we want to make sure that we are all back together and welcoming you into this new realm of patient care, immersion in patient care, to come out of your maybe solitude or isolation of studying many hours, and we really commend your diligence, and we really know that that's been I think this is the hardest part of medical school that you've just endured. So I just want to give you lots of really just acknowledgement for that and for doing a great job and just putting all your effort forth to be here. So today we want to really welcome you into really the realm of being a physician, and you'll hear lots about professionalism and a big emphasis on that. Also, one of our threads that we want to pull through today is collegiality, and what that really means, you're going to hear from lots of speakers, so it's a bit of a parade of speakers, if you will. And if you notice, there are not, well, I'm sure you've noticed that your parents and significant others are not here, and they are certainly welcome. But they are with us on live stream, so we want to acknowledge them and thank them, because without their support, you certainly would not be sitting here. And so we just thank you, shout out to the parents and significant others, friends, family who are watching. But really, this event is not about individual achievement, which is very much needed in our medical world, but this is really about coming together. And so during your white coat ceremony, we called you all by name. You all got a nice white coat. You got refreshed, embroidered white coats now to really delve back in. So it's kind of a reset, a refresh at this halfway point of your medical education. So we want to put the focus and the emphasis on that. All right, so the investiture, when you think of, well, what in the world, it's not the white coat ceremony, when we thought of kind of how to shape this event and want to make it meaningful, so the term investiture, you think of you envision like a very ceremonial installation to a very high office. But the Latin root vestis, meaning robe, is coupled with the preposition in, which signifies being robed in, as bestowing authority and responsibility. So 2 years ago, you were all officially robed in, if you will, when you came on stage and we put the white coat on you. But today you will take on the professional responsibility of a clinician. And that will be sealed with an oath, a professionalism oath. And that oath was actually written specifically for Wayne students. And so no other school has this oath. It's singularly our oath, and that really has the essence of what we want you to embody as you go forth in your profession. So this is how you will be seen now. You will become a representative of the school, of the community, and of the profession, and you will represent all of that. And our School of Medicine is steeped in, 150 plus, going on 160 years of very deep history and rich meaning, and so we want to share a lot of that with you today. And so our student, faculty, administrative speakers are going to come forward, and they will share their thoughts and carefully prepared thoughts with you, and so we'll get started with that. So I hope you settle in like a good movie and just kind of get ready to just enjoy and take in the pieces that really kind of resonate with you to reflect on when you leave here today, and that will mark the end of your pre-clerkship course, if you will. So today we'll begin with our speakers with a welcome from the university, which we're a part of a much larger university. So you're a huge class, but we're part of a much bigger enterprise, which we're in the middle of right here on the main campus, and that's why we're on the main campus, to kind of feel that, have that sense as well. So Governor Versuito is going to speak with us first and bring some greetings. He is a member of the Wayne State Board of Governors and a 1981 graduate of the School of Medicine. He has dedicated his life to serving the profession and training future physicians, both in research and in teaching medical students and surgical residents. He's a plastic surgeon. He has been very active in philanthropy for causes that support what we do here at the school. He's a true role model, and he exemplifies what a Wayne Warrior MD spirit is all about. He's tireless. He's a very effective champion. I can tell you that firsthand, having worked with him for several years now, and just wonderful. So, Governor Versuito.
Thank you and welcome. I was up here counting on my fingers and toes because I figured out it's 46 years ago I was sitting where you are here, but we didn't have this ceremony back then. And I think this is a great thing to do. I think I may be the only one who's been here longer than Dr. Socker. I don't see anyone else here on the stage has been here longer than me. And I have to say this, and it's truly from the bottom of my heart. If I could go back 48 years ago and do it all over again, I would do the exact same thing that I've done, and I wouldn't pick any other school of medicine in this country except Wayne State University School of Medicine. I don't think there's any other school in the country that could have prepared me better to do what I do. I looked up on AI last night, the most respected professions, and the most respected profession in this country is still medicine. There's nothing, no other professional is held in higher esteem than physicians. And you will command tremendous respect, but I do have to tell you that respect is just not given, it's earned. You'll have to earn it. For the last 2 years, you've held these people on this stage to the highest expectations to get you ready to go out and take care of patients. The table's gonna turn now today, because starting now and for the rest of your life, you will be held to the highest expectation by your patients. And let me tell you, it's not easy. And you've been prepared very well, I can guarantee you that. Every school has its own personality, and you'll see this as you meet people from other schools. And where Wayne has always excelled is in the clinical arena. We're always number one in the state in the clinical arena, and that's why we just had the match rate of 99.4%. That's unbelievable, because healthcare systems in this state and in this country, they know Wayne, they know how well you are prepared clinically, and they want you. And that's a great tribute to everybody up on the stage also. When you get in the clinical floors, you're gonna mix with other students from other schools, and this is when you're gonna really develop a great appreciation for everything they've done for you this past 2 years and what this school has done to prepare you. And I hope you do appreciate it. You'll also get an appreciation for how, believe it or not, you're gonna feel when you mix with these other people like you're a family. You're part of the Wayne State University School of Medicine family, and that feeling will continue for the rest of your life. You'll make bonds over these next 2 years with your fellow students. I'm sure you've made some already that will last a lifetime. I want to thank you again for coming today and welcome you once again from the Board of Governors, and good luck.
Thank you, Governor Versuito. It's now my pleasure to introduce our Dean, Dean Socker. We all know him well. He's a passionate medical educator, as you know. Over his 3 decades as faculty, he was department chair in pathology as well. He's been a very active participant in teaching and mentoring medical students, residents, and fellows. For the last 3 years, he's served as our dean. And in that leadership role, he oversees all of medical education and all the different dimensions of the school. And I could say much, much more, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Dean Socker because he always cuts me off when I introduce. So.
All right. I guess it is afternoon now, so welcome, everyone. Congratulations. The faculty, the staff, and yours truly share your pride today and the excitement that you feel embarking on the next stage of your medical education. Remember, the school selected you from over 10,000 applicants because we really believed in you. And I know that you have been delivering on that in a huge way. We believe that you will make excellent physicians, compassionate physicians, and perhaps most importantly, you will be the type of physician that we are using increasingly the phrase Wayne trained. The transition from the second to the third year makes a pivotal minute in your journey. You will apply your knowledge to your understanding of disease and patient care. Succeeding in this new phase is built on the solid foundation of understanding the fundamentals of medicine: anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, pathology. And I'll take this chance to salute our outstanding basic science colleagues who laid this foundation through outstanding teaching, outstanding interpersonal skills that I came to know directly, and I would give them a round of applause. Now, you are about to meet new teachers. Not all of them will be physicians. You will get accustomed to the team concept of healthcare, both in hospital setting and in outpatient environment. And I think the ability to be a team member, to be a great communicator, certainly will impact the success in this phase and beyond. Walk in the steps and even try to outdo. That's okay, Dr. Steffes, if I say that. Try to outdo your predecessors in the term of how our colleagues in every hospital within the state of Michigan and beyond associate Wayne State students with the best in knowledge, in hard work, in professionalism, and in compassionism. They will make great residents. That's what our hospital system everywhere think. Wayne State students, Wayne trained students will make a great residence. The next phase of your education will be daunting and will be challenging, but we have prepared you well for this phase. Cannot forget one other change in this transition. You will be trading these short white coats to a long one. These few additional inches of clothing may prove one of the most expensive endeavors in your wardrobe. Your courage and commitment to medicine, to excellent patient care, and your understanding and compassion for your brothers and sisters in need in their most needy times, your first constituency will become, from next week and on for the rest of your career, will be your patients. So congratulations again. We are proud to celebrate your movement from the preclinical into the clinical phase.
Thank you, Dean Sarkar. Our commitment to community with you does not end when you receive your degree and on board for your residency across the country. From the moment you matriculate at Wayne and well beyond graduation with your MD in hand, you are part of our large network of alumni, and it's a really large network. And they are generous, and they are dedicated to your education, and they are phenomenal supporters from start to finish. Therefore, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Rebecca Klisch-Hulbert, immediate past president of the Medical Alumni Association. Dr. Klisch-Hulbert is an associate professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Neurosciences, program director for clinical and adolescent psychiatry for the DMC Wayne State program, and an incredibly dedicated and committed alumna. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Klisch-Hulbert.
Thank you, Dr. Chadwell. Welcome, class of 2027, to the Wayne State University School of Medicine's Clinician Investiture. As Dr. Chadwell said, I'm Dr. Rebecca Klush-Holbert, immediate past president of the Medical Alumni Association. Like Dr. Chadwell, I also went here for undergrad, and I'm also a proud triple grad of the medical school, med school residency and fellowship. I'm honored to be here representing the Medical Alumni Association. This is truly an exciting time in your medical career. This is when your education transitions to your training. You've built a foundation of knowledge about health and disease, and now it's time to put that knowledge to work. This is what you've been looking forward to. This is why you chose a life in medicine. Bad cafeteria food, the smell of C. diff in the morning, patients telling lead attending a completely different story than what they told you. It's glorious. Instead of studying notes, watching lectures, and reading books, you'll be interacting with patients, checking labs, and performing procedures. It will be challenging, but it will also be equally rewarding. You'll soon get to feel the fulfillment that comes from helping a fellow human being who has entrusted you with their life and their health. Now is the time to go beyond medical knowledge and hone the other skills of a physician: empathy, communication, compassion, leadership, altruism, teamwork, and professionalism. From this point on, you'll be expected to work on every aspect of becoming a physician. Embrace every experience, as there's something to learn in everything, even manually disimpacting a bowel. You'll have help and support every step of the way, from attendings, residents, fellow students, nurses, and of course, patients. The clinical experience at the Wayne State School of Medicine is second to none. Program directors from residency programs are consistently impressed when our graduates function at the level of a resident from day one. I know you all know about imposter syndrome. There's definitely going to be times where you feel like you're just pretending to be a doctor. And you kind of are, and it's okay. It's part of the process. The great news is you won't be dull in conversations anymore. Instead of boring your friends talking about the functions of how our kidneys work, you'll actually have fascinating stories about the patient's struggles and triumphs. This is what you've been waiting for. As you move into your clinical rotation years, please remember that the Medical Alumni Association will continue to be here to offer support and guidance. For example, we can connect you with alums who practice in specialties that you might be interested in pursuing, even facilitating dinner with those alums. If you're interested in participating in externships, we can help find alumni for you to stay with to try to save you some money. And of course, we'll be here to offer career advice, counseling, sometimes even a shoulder to cry on. Whatever you need, we're here for you. So on behalf of the Medical Alumni Association, we wish you great success in the next exciting phase of your medical education. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you so much. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. David Mpanza. Dr. Mpanza is the ultrasound division head of the Department of Emergency Medicine at the Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. He's also an assistant clinical professor of emergency medicine at the Wayne State University School of Medicine. He has been involved in point-of-care ultrasound education since 2000 and has developed a 4-year longitudinal ultrasound curriculum and has, with the chair of the Department of Surgery, Dr. Scott Dolchowski. I knew I was going to mess that one up. That has been successfully integrated into our school and into the curriculum since actually 2006. It's been a while. He also established the first emergency medicine clinical ultrasound fellowship training program in the state of Michigan in 2010. Dr. Mpanza received his undergraduate degree in biochemistry from the University of California, Los Angeles, and his medical degree from the University of Illinois College of Medicine. He completed his emergency medicine residency training at the Henry Ford Hospital, where he is now a senior staff physician. Dr. Mpanza.
Thank you, Dr. Chadwell, for the kind introduction, and good afternoon. To Dean Sacker, Vice Dean Baker, distinguished faculty, parents and relatives mostly joining online, and medical students, It is a true privilege and an honor of mine to deliver the keynote address and to also congratulate each of you for achieving such an important milestone in your young careers as future clinicians. Today marks the beginning of an important transition in what you've dreamed of over the years to becoming future medical doctors, with a unique opportunity for developing the necessary skills to prepare you as young clinicians before beginning your respective residencies in 2 short years. After spending countless hours learning about the foundational principles of medicine, including human anatomy, physiology, pathology, numerous other courses, including time spent in the multidisciplinary labs and developing the fundamentals of clinical skills using primarily standardized patients, it is now time to be exposed to patients in the clinical arena as you begin to translate the knowledge you've acquired during your pre-clerkship years to your clerkship years at the bedside during actual patient encounters. You are all accepted into this prestigious medical school, the Wayne State School of Medicine, 2 years ago due to your unique talents, individual accomplishments, and given this amazing opportunity as future doctors to make an impact in the lives of the sick. As you make this important transition into the clinical arena, you will be introduced to the fundamentals of clinical medicine and to develop new skills in what it entails to becoming a competent physician. The transition to clinical medicine will provide you with a unique perspective into the art of medicine and how to apply these new skills during your clerkships. You will also be exposed to the complexities of the healthcare system, which seems to be ever-changing, but at the same time not losing focus on what you are preparing for. Always remember that at the center of becoming a physician is the patient-physician relationship, which is primarily based on trust, giving you the ethical responsibility to place the patient's well-being above your own self-interest, using sound ethical medical judgment to advocate for your patients. Now you're going to be part of a medical team in your 6 to 8 week rotations in various specialties, including internal medicine, general surgery, and many others during your 3rd year. Each medical team, according to its hierarchy, will comprise of an attendant physician, fellows, chief resident, residents based on their seniority, rotating senior medical students, and you as the new member of the team. The most important advice is to be very flexible and adaptive to the rapid change that you're about to be exposed to. There are many aspects of your clinical experience that I would like to highlight for you, not necessarily in the order of experience of importance. First, about your future specialty choice. The simple question I normally ask 30 medical students while in their general surgery rotation during ultrasound teaching sessions is to determine by a simple show of hands how many are planning on a surgical or a non-surgical specialty. This is a fundamental question that you must answer while going through your specific rotations, whether you see yourself spending considerable time in the operating room or in the clinical arena. One of my colleagues switched to emergency medicine after 3 years of residency training in neurosurgery after deciding that he no longer wanted to spend time in the operating room. There are others who have had to change specialties due to a newly diagnosed medical condition. According to data from the AAMC, or the Association of American Medical Colleges, only 27% of the 2020-2021 graduates intended to train in the specialties previously listed as their preference when they began medical school. Also, about 49% of students change their specialty preference from the start of medical school to residency. So if you're not certain about your specialty choice currently, do not worry, as you would have ample time during your 3rd year and even early on during your senior year to make a reasonable decision. My initial specialty choice early in medical school was ophthalmology, but I simply could not look at a red eye without my eyes spontaneously watering or tearing. I looked at Dr. Baker because I just wanted to. I, however, thankfully do not have that handicap any longer. So specialty preference continuity is less than 40% overall for initial specialty choice. So the advice for you, therefore, is to be flexible and know your strengths and weaknesses to help you select the most appropriate specialty that you will be most suited for, as this will be a lifelong decision to bring you the greatest satisfaction. Now to your clinical responsibilities. You will now become part of a medical team on each of your assigned rotations with expected duties, call schedule, other important requirements clearly outlined for you prior to each rotation. I recommend that you take these very seriously to help with receiving excellent evaluations at the end of each rotation. This would also help bolster your letters of recommendation as you prepare for your residency applications in your senior year. Do show up on time for morning rounds, fully prepared, and always maintain a professional appearance and attitude, showing respect for the other members of the team and particularly for your patients. You never want a patient to complain about you. Always introduce yourself properly to each patient, informing them of your role as a medical student during all patient encounters, especially when asked to obtain a history and perform a physical examination alone. One of the best ways to retain information during your clerkship rotations is to read about your patients, as was drilled into us as medical students over 30 years ago. This will help you adjust to a new model of learning, which is patient-centered or patient-focused, to read about conditions like heart failure, renal failure, stroke care, and other surgical topics as they relate to patients you're caring for, or cases discussed during morning rounds, focusing on diagnosis, pathophysiology, appropriate diagnostic testing, medical decision-making, and disposition. Keep up with the literature and evidence-based practice standards as they relate to patients you will be caring for. Patients typically find satisfaction in a provider who's knowledgeable, listens to their concerns, and explains concepts clearly and in lay terms, and spends as much time as necessary during care encounters. It's becoming quite difficult to do because of time at the bedside and competing issues that doctors have to deal with. This is also the time for you as junior members of the medical team to ask questions, because at this stage in your career, it is assumed that you do not know what you don't know. What about your overall approach to patient care? Even though you may be a junior member of the medical team, it is important to be familiar with the three key traits of the positive patient-physician relationship, which are empathy, effective communication, and shared decision-making. Know that each patient has been created in the image of an invisible God and deserves the best treatment from you, as if you were treating a family member. Learn to listen to your patients carefully, because when presenting a case, you may actually add critical information by being very thorough to help improve the overall care of your patient. Treat each patient you encounter with compassion, empathy, and professionalism. Learn to take care of yourselves. You are all valuable members of the unique profession of medicine, and on your way to becoming part of the hierarchy of physicians in your fields of specialty. That means that you must adhere to the same professional standards and ethical behaviors with the profession, medical profession, and of your respective specialties. Medicine is truly a rewarding profession, but at the same time quite challenging, with about 45% of physicians experiencing some burnout or job dissatisfaction. Find ways to deal with stress by reaching out to your faculty advisors, colleagues, family members, and your spiritual advisor. Do not deal with difficult circumstances alone. Reach out for a lending hand. Some of what medical students have recommended in the past to incoming third-year medical students is to get used to change. One student brilliantly stated that, get comfortable being uncomfortable, which well summarizes the journey you're about to embark upon, especially as you begin your clerkship training. With the ever-changing and integration of innovative ways of improving the patient care experience and to enhance overall patient safety, including the use of robotics and the incorporation of artificial intelligence, learn to adapt well to these changes while focusing on the primary goal of providing the best care for your patients and adhering to the highest standards and improved patient satisfaction. I will conclude with a personal story. Know that even as you prepare to become physicians over the next 2 years, we're all human and subject to the same ailments that we diagnose and treat our patients for. Just over 10 months ago, I could not write legibly, I could not type, I had dysgeusia or a loss of taste, significant weight loss, and tremors with an inability to simply button a shirt, all due to my chemotherapy agent, and had to undergo my third transplant in July of 2024, a chimeric antigen receptor T-cell therapy, also known simply as CAR-T, after 2 autologous bone marrow stem cell transplants, first in 2011 and again in 2020 during the height of the global pandemic. I'm doing well today due to medical ingenuity, advancements in therapeutic research, prayer, and my relentless faith in the Lord. So please learn to take care of yourselves, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. If you're not feeling well, try not to diagnose yourself, but make sure you have a primary care physician for routine medical checkups. On a high note, seize this amazing opportunity that you've been blessed with as members of this unique profession of medicine. Consider yourselves the future generation of physicians and innovators, and reach for the stars by striving to accomplish the impossible, for you are all incredibly special. I deeply appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today and wish you all the absolute best in your future medical careers, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
I think we could probably end right there, but we have a little bit more to go. That was just wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Ampanza, and we're so glad you could be with us. Truly inspiring words. And the next part of our program, we're going to just take a minute to look back on your pre-clerkship piece, because there's a saying that a life where you don't reflect is not well lived. So we kind of got to look back and kind of shore up that piece a little bit. And to help us do that, we have Dr. Walker. He is well known to all of you, right? From day one. Remember that first day in gross anatomy? He received his doctorate degree from Temple University and performed a postdoc fellowship in neuroscience at Rutgers University. He's been a full-time faculty and member in the Department of Ophthalmology, Visual, and Anatomical Sciences since 1990. Dr. Walker currently serves as the Assistant Dean of Basic Foundational Science at our school and leads our premier gross anatomy program. Dr. Walker.
This is always a little intimidating when I see all these white coats. Y'all know my coat is green, and I can't wear it in public. So a little reminiscing, do you remember your first day in M1 orientation? You were informed that the main goal of the M1 segment was to learn as much as you possibly could about how the human body is put together and how it works. So think back for a moment about your first 18 months. What did you do? You dissected the entire human body, something that has become more unusual in medical schools across the country. I heard recently that CMU just closed their program, and they'll be doing virtual. But you got to explore anatomy with your own senses. You saw variations, you saw pathology. You worked together, and you communicated as a team. You practiced cooperation. You learned to be reliable and accurate. Along the way, you got used to getting a little dirty as well. And this is something that helps build your personal armor that we hope you take into residency. You also worked effectively in small groups to practice principles of biochemistry, histology, physiology, pharmacology, evidence-based medicine. In the M2 segment, you continued to build your foundation with the understanding of disease processes and learn various approaches to the treatment of patients. In clinical skills, you learn the basic skills necessary for the advancement into clerkship. You learned about the many challenges in P4 facing healthcare delivery to all peoples, both historically and in our current world. And you went out into the community and served. These are all the things you did. The building of your foundation, however, is never finished. It is a work in progress, a lifelong journey. This is especially important today, where it is crucial to stand firm on scientific principles that we know to be fundamental and true. One example, recently the head of HHS opened the argument of the safety of vaccinations and possible linkage to autism. What is your response to this? Do you know the data? Can you discuss it? You can't just say this is ridiculous anymore. You have to have a response. And the response has to be accurate. What about fluoride in water? Do you know that data? Is it toxic? Do you have a response? These are the scientific principles that we hoped you would come away with during pre-clerkship. The self-directed learning exercises we had, we made you delve deeply into the scientific literature. We gave you feedback. We asked you to go deeper sometimes because you just scratched the surface. Your profession requires depth and accuracy. When gathering information on a topic, don't trust AI will have the answer for you. Use human intelligence, your own HI. Dig into the details, check the original references, don't rely on review articles. They're often incorrect. You gotta go more, you gotta go deeper. So our celebration today is not that you made it past the hurdle of M1 and M2, and it's not simply that you passed step 1. That's the minimal requirement. Instead, we're celebrating your advancement into the clerkship phase of the curriculum with the expectation that you're going to continue to build on your own foundation, to cement it. And this is the lifelong process. You need to be ready to apply foundational principles to your practice and be willing to add this foundation throughout your career. Now, you've been a great class. We've enjoyed working with you and getting to know you. And on behalf of all of the pre-clerkship faculty, we wish you the best as you continue your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. So That was a little trip down memory lane, right? But now we have to pivot and look forward. And to help us do that, I want to introduce Dr. Wainio, but she probably doesn't need too much of an introduction. She's our Assistant Dean in Student Affairs. She's a 2005 graduate of our medical school and a 2009 graduate of the Wayne State University and Detroit Medical Center Psychiatry Residency Program. She's also an associate professor of psychiatry and behavioral neuroscience and a clinical psychiatrist. So, and she manages our health and wellness curriculum as well. So, and she's my cherished colleague. So, Dr. Wainio, come on up here.
Wow, class of 2027, it's so good to see you here. This Clinician Investiture marks the beginning of a clinical year filled with so much personal and professional growth. From April onward, you'll wake up in the morning excited despite the very early hour. You'll put on the white coat you wear today, though it might not be quite as crisp, and take your stethoscope to join the healthcare team. You have a strong foundation to build your clinical experiences upon. All those long, study-filled days and nights of the last almost 2 years under the guidance of Dr. Walker and all of the pre-clerkship faculty team really will come together. You will make a difference. In fact, you'll be part of a healthcare team that comes together to help a fellow human being. You'll get to see the impact this makes on the patient and on those around them. And the next day, they'll get to do it all over again. It's worth all the hard work, and it inspires all of us to keep building our knowledge and skills. The key ingredients of the success is a well-functioning team with members who show up and support each other every single day. Sharing those intense moments not only helps you clinically and advances patient safety, it also leads to lunch breaks during a hectic day that are filled with laughter, the security of knowing someone has your back, and a set of friends that truly understand what you're going through because they're on this journey with you. What I remember most when I reflect back on my own clinical training years are the relationships built during those intense times. From practicing presenting with a colleague before team rounds to quiet our nerves, to how my resident checked in on me after a difficult patient outcome. I also wanted to share a memorable example of camaraderie outside of clinical work. Last year, I emailed 3 students in the class of 25 to see if anyone was interested in collaborating on a medical ed project. And within the hour, every one of them called me back, interested, enthusiastic, and every student individually shared their wish that their colleagues have first pick of their role and take the lead if they were to want it. This thoughtfulness of team members led to a project that came together seamlessly, and it's the same approach that makes exceptional members of a clinical team. So as you get to know the ever-changing landscape of medical training, both in and out of the hospital environment, take the time to really get to know your colleagues. Look out for each other. If you notice a colleague going through a rough time, check in on them. And if someone is checking in on you, don't brush them off. Let them be there for you, just like you're present for them. And one day, you'll look back, maybe with a lot of the people that you're sitting here today with, and you'll look back with those friends you've known for decades and reminisce about this year that you're about to start. Congratulations.
Great advice. So I hope you're taking lots of notes or watch the reel later. But yeah, a lot of great thoughts. But you'll get to stretch here in just a minute because we're going to have you come up in communities. But before that, to introduce that is Dr. Ayers. You're here, Dr. Oh, there you are. Okay. Dr. Ayers received his medical degree at Wayne State as well. And completed his combined internal medicine pediatrics program residency training at the Detroit Medical Center. Dr. Ayers currently serves as the new interim chair for the Department of Pediatrics, as well as the director of mentoring and student engagement in our Office of Student Affairs. So he wears lots of hats. I don't really know how he does it. He has led in the development and functionality of the Wayne State Warrior houses, and I know he's worked with many of you there to anchor that program. So I'm going to just have Dr. Ayers come up and take us through this next section.
Good afternoon. I usually don't read from written speeches, but I chose to today. Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to talk to you today about the vibrant, inspiring houses of Wayne State University School of Medicine. These houses are not just a structure. They've become the very backbone of our engagement, fostering a sense of belonging, camaraderie that boasts our collective spirit. This is about representing your house with pride, and I want you to feel the enthusiasm as I do. From day one, you've seen how this engagement has transformed into something greater, connecting us to warring warrior pride and empowering us as we embark on becoming Wayne-trained health professionals. As we, I say we because in this journey, I learned from you and you learned from me. It's not just one way. The beauty of the houses lies in the unity they bring, supported by the incredible house coordinators, peer mentors, who have gone above and beyond to ignite the passion and encourage your participation. Sometimes they can get on your nerves, but all they're trying to do is get you engaged. Let's acknowledge their hard work and give them a thank you in guiding you in your journey thus far. And I'll have them stand up in a second. As you transition from your second to third year, I urge each of you to stay involved. Your engagement is vital to your growth as clinicians and compassionate physicians. Remember, the more you engage, the more you grow. The definition of engagement is to be obligated or have a moral obligation. And that it transcends not only to the houses, but what you will be doing as you go out during these next few years, becoming the clinician physician that you want to be. Now, I'd like to bring our wonderful house coordinators, or ask our beautiful house coordinators to stand up. All the house coordinators, if they're here, stand up. And next, those who have served as peer mentors, will you stand up, please? Your job has not ended, because now we want vertical integration, that we want, as you, the inspiring third-year class, to become very much engaged in what we are and what we've dreamed of about the houses. That although you're off campus, you'll be on campus. That your guidance, that your wisdom will be spread to those who are out behind you, and that you'll carry the pride of each house as you go forward. So I'm going to now acknowledge you as each house, and I want you to rep your house. Are you ready? Blue house, stand up. Stand up. Now yell. Greenhouse. Oh, that is a poor response. Good Lord. I feel I'm about to have a heart attack up here. Yellow house. All right now. Gray house. Now that's why I like it. Orange house. Brown house. Now let's bring it. Purple house. And this last house better bring the house on fire. Red house. Fantastic. I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be part of this process, the peer coordinators, the peer mentors and the coordinators. And to that end, someone who I've worked with over the last year and a half very closely, Sarah Raymond, who's going to represent you, the students, in this engagement for the houses. I just wanted to let Sarah know, and you all know, although sometimes you can be with, sometimes mentoring is something I love. And our speeches coincide even though we didn't write them together. So, Sarah?
Hi, guys, that was a tough act to follow, but good afternoon. I stand before you today to reflect on something that has become an integral part of our community here at Wayne State, obviously our warrior houses. These houses, as you all know, are not just a part of our physical space, but a symbol of the spirit, strength, and unity that defines who we are as a student body. The warrior houses represent more than just groups or teams. They represent a culture of support, a shared sense of belonging, and a commitment to the well-being of each and every one of us. Whether it's during a challenging exam period, navigating the complexities of medical school, or celebrating each other's successes, the warrior houses create an environment where we know we are never alone. These houses are not only designed to foster collaboration and friendly competition, they serve as a reminder that we are all a part of something much bigger than ourselves. The relationships we build here, the way we lean on each other during tough times, and the shared experiences shape us into better colleagues, better healthcare professionals, and ultimately better human beings. Today, I want to take a moment to thank all of you, the students, for your contributions to this community. Each one of you has played an important role in shaping the spirit of your house and making it thrive. Whether it's organizing events, participating in house challenges, supporting each other in both big and small ways, or simply bringing your unique energy and ideas to the table, your contributions have made our warrior houses stronger, more inclusive, and more vibrant. Your enthusiasm, dedication, and willingness to engage with your peers are what make this community special. Every action, no matter how small it may seem, adds to the bigger picture of who we are as a school. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed, and for that, I am truly thankful. So thank you for your time, your effort, your creativity, and your unwavering support for one another. As we continue on our journey through medical school, let's not forget the importance of these houses and the sense of community they foster. Let's keep supporting each other, celebrating our successes, and most importantly, recognizing that each one of us is an essential part of this vibrant and growing family. Together, we are not just individuals pursuing a medical degree, we are a united force, each contributing to the successes and well-being of the others, and that is something truly special. Thank you all again for your dedication and for making the warrior houses what they are today.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, we're going to present each of you with a stethoscope, a lapel pin, and a professionalism pledge. You will be called to the stage by your Warrior MD house caller, though I'm not sure if I could do it quite as well as Dr. Ayers. Will Warrior MD, Red House, and Green House please come forward? Presenting your Clinician Investiture keepsakes will be Dr. Riddle Jones, Internal Medicine Physician and Director of the P4 Curriculum, Dr. Ayers, and Dean Soccer. All right, you can start. All right, now, Will Warrior, MD, Purple House and Yellow House, please come forward. Presenting your investiture keepsakes will be Dr. Scher, Internal Medicine Physician and Chair, Henry Ford Health, Dr. Levine, Internal Medicine Physician and Vice Chair for Education, and Dr. Baker, Ophthalmologist and Senior Vice Dean and Vice Dean for Medical Education. All right, you can hear the excitement in the room. So next, will Warrior MD Orange House please come forward? Presenting your investiture keepsakes will be Dr. Getson, psychiatrist and clerkship director, Dr. Kumarbach, family medicine physician and clerkship director, and Dr. Steffes, surgeon and associate dean for clinical education. All right, time for the next group. Will Warrior MD Blue House please come forward? Presenting your investiture keepsakes will be Dr. Jamin, pathologist and assistant professor, Dr. Paul Walker, assistant dean of basic foundational sciences, and Dr. David Impanza, ultrasound division head, Department of Emergency Medicine, and keynote speaker. All right, you can begin. All right. Can everyone hear me in the back? Can you do like a thumbs up if you can hear me, just like on Zoom? All right, thank you. All right, so will Warrior MD Grayhouse please come forward? Presenting your investiture keepsakes will be Dr. Arsene, family medicine physician and director of undergraduate medical education for Trinity Health, Dr. Allen, pediatrician, director of undergraduate medical education at Henry Ford Health, and Dr. Basuito, plastic and reconstruction surgery physician and member of the Wayne State University Board of Governors. All right, everybody, we've got one final group left. So our last group of presenters for your investiture keepsakes will be Dr. Kayumjian, an emergency medicine physician and director of career advising for the Office of Student Affairs, Dr. Miller, internal medicine physician, medical director of the Cato Family Clinical Skills Center, and Dr. Chopra, professor of medicine and assistant dean for faculty development and coaching. Will Warrior MD Brownhouse please come forward?
Okay. All right. So that was the 7th inning stretch, right? You're all good to go. So thank you for coming up and accepting a small commemorative. This is not the Littman 3 cardiology for $250 stethoscope. This is a commemorative stethoscope from this day, symbolic, and Dr. Steffes is going to tell us about that a little bit. So we've got a few more speakers, the pledge, and yeah, we'll get it done. So I want to welcome Dr. Christopher Steffes to the stage, and he's our Associate Dean of Clinical Education. You've already met him these last 2 weeks. He's going to be your, shall I say, drill sergeant for the next 2 years? Your field master, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But Dr. Steffes, I think you're ready to go.
All right. I've been asked the question, why are we required to be here today? I don't think I'll get anything out of it. Who demands our presence at an event for which there are 0 questions on step? For this, I have a ready-made answer. Your bosses require it. Who's your boss? Your bosses are now your patients, all right? You can complain about them. Everybody complains about their boss, right? But we have no higher responsibility than to serve them and act in their best interest. So unlike that Tom Petty anthem, you have a new boss, and it's not the same as the old boss, right? You have a boss now who requires a slice of you every day, and will do so for the rest of your career. So who requires you to be at this event? On rounds, in the clinic, in the emergency room, as you learn to become a physician? Your patients require it. Your first connection to the patient will be symbolically, metaphorically, and physically, and in actuality, your stethoscope. So as we get ready to take our professionalism oath in a few minutes, and the oath that will guide us through our clinical years, I would like to briefly think about the stethoscope that you just received. What is the meaning of this? What does it represent? So René Laennec invented the stethoscope in 1816. Now, he called it the stethoscope, okay? But it was one of those old scripts and everything, so when it was translated into English, it was stethoscope, but it really is a stethoscope. My ancestors were there in 1816. So René Laennec invented this as a polite way to listen to the heart, lungs, and great vessels. As you can imagine, putting your ear to the chest was, we would call it creepy today. But the stethoscope, stethos meaning chest, scope, to examine. That's it. The stethoscope is our connection to the patient, our way of hearing what's inside. The early model was a short wooden tube, you guys have seen the pictures, with a little trumpet at the end. The modern stethoscope has some tubing that allows us to maintain our professional distance while still connected to the patient. Continuing on this metaphor, even as we are listening to the intimate details shared by our patients, the anatomy and physiology of their disease, we also need to keep our professional distance to maintain our objectivity. The development of this stethoscope in revolutionary Europe marked a revolution in medicine. 18th century physicians relied mainly on the patient's story to make a diagnosis, and they would do it by letter, right? You get a consult, you send a letter, and they'd send a letter back. Kind of like telemedicine is these days. Medical school was just lectures. Medical students did not see patients, only learned from the experts during lecture. Only us barber surgeons touched patients. The stethoscope changed that. Physicians and students saw and examined patients daily, and the practice of medicine became more scientific, empiric, and personal as physicians tried to figure out what was going on inside the body, rather than what humors might be out of balance. Students went around, saw the patients, and recorded the findings on paper charts. Of course, this was the start of student clerkships. Clerk, right? Writing down. That's why they're called clerkships. There is still a temptation to treat patients remotely, whether over a Zoom link, reviewing the charts on the EMR outside the examination room, or just making diagnosis and treatment plans without seeing the patients at all, or looking at their CT scans. Patients get worried when their doctor doesn't do an examination. They feel cheated. The stethoscope, though, takes us back to the patient. Even in modern practice, the stethoscope is our tether to maintain our connection to the patient. But it's also the stethoscope that allows doctors to hear life. As Aristotle said, life is movement. And where we hear air moving, heart valves closing, and blood swishing, we know there's life. We rely on our stethoscopes to listen to the newborn's breath sounds, to tell when we successfully obtain an airway in a critically ill patient, or to listen to the flow of blood when assessing the blood pressure. On the other hand, at the end of life, we hear nothing with our stethoscope. we are able to pronounce the patient medically dead. So although we have many more accurate modes to use in assessing diseases of the chest, we would never think of representing a physician without a stethoscope. It is the icon of our profession. In your handouts, you have a professionalism oath. I warned some of you there would be a quiz on this. You have a professionalism oath that we'll recite in a moment. On the other page in there, there's a list of Wayne Warrior, MD, Physicians in Training Principles of Professional Identity. These were recently developed by the Wayne State Committee led by our former dean, Bob Frank. The committee reflected on outstanding physicians who were thought of consummate professionals, kind of like everyone on stage here. And they wrote down words that described them, descriptors that were fitting for all Wayne-trained physicians. And you'll see them in your folders there, the 16 C's. There are 16 adjectives starting with C, and it would seem that this was all contrived as a gimmick of alliteration. But when you look at them, it's a coincidence of their Latin roots. These words that describe the physician who excels a professional relationship with a patient, most of them begin with co or com, using the Latin root meaning together with. Compassionate, competent, committed, conscientious, compliant, collaborative, confidential, community, collegial, considerate, communicative. All describe a relationship of a patient together with a physician. The patient-physician relationship described by these words has no better symbol than the stethoscope, which allows the ears to listen to the heart. The Latin word for heart is cor, which is the root of our last descriptor, courage. One more C word that's not on there, control. There are many things in medical education and practice you cannot control, but carrying yourself with the guiding light of these principles of professional identity is something you can always control. Post them on your refrigerator or on your home screen. Review them at least daily. Let them be your guide to daily connection to your patient and your dedication to professional medicine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Steffes. So we're going to have Dr. Baker now come up, our Vice Dean of Medical Education, and he's going to take you through the professionalism pledge. Thank you, Dr. Baker.
Well, before I start, this is the first time that I heard that Dr. Ponzo was going to go in ophthalmology. I knew I liked you for a reason. It was really, that's just one more reason to really like him. Will all the medical students please rise? Okay, you got these nice certificates, right, to read. I will begin by reading the first line of the pledge, and when I have finished, you will repeat it as a class, and no response options after the lines, right? Just this as a line. I talked to Dr. Steffes before we do this, because this pledge is really important. And we talked about the fact it would be great if we started a tradition in which you read this pledge after every rotation. That would be nice. Now, we talked about, well, what would be the incentive? We couldn't guarantee you honors, but we think you'd be a really great physician. So just think about it. After every time you do a clerkship, just go back. Just read this pledge. So we'll start. I publicly acknowledge and accept the privileges and responsibilities given to me today as a physician in training and dedicate myself to provide care to those in need. I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity, embracing opportunities to learn from patients, teachers, and colleagues.
I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity, embracing opportunities to learn from patients, teachers, and colleagues.
I will certify only that which I have personally verified, and I will neither receive nor give unauthorized assistance on examinations or clinical reports.
I will certify only that which I have personally verified, and I will neither receive nor give unauthorized assistance on examinations or clinical reports.
I will respect the humanity, right, and decisions of all patients and will attend to them with compassion and without bias. I will strive to earn the trust of my patients place in me and the respect that society places upon our profession. I will recognize the privileges afforded to me as a physician in training and promise not to abuse them. Knowing my own limitations and those of medicine, I commit myself to a lifelong journey of learning how to cure, relieve, and comfort with humility and compassion. I acknowledge the principles of professional identity as reflected in the competencies uniquely set forth by the Wayne State University School of Medicine and will maintain the highest standards of professional conduct.
I acknowledge the principles of professional identity as reflected in the competencies uniquely set forth by the Wayne State University School of Medicine and will maintain the highest standards of professional conduct.
And finally, I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Thank you. Please be seated. Dr. Chadwell.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. All right, that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. I love the idea of reading that every clerkship. I think that's a good reset. So we're almost done. We saved the best for last, in a way. Not that everybody on stage is great, but our Wayne trained two of our students, fourth-year students, who just today finished their last shelf exam, and they came over, yes, woo. And they are going to share with us. The first one is president of AOA. The second one is president of GHHS. And both of those are very nationally recognized, internationally recognized organizations. So I remember Jackson, especially, being here last year, and we talked a little bit on the clinical campus committee. He's going to share his reflections on year 3. He was in your seat a year ago. Jackson Ferris.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, congratulations on completing 2 of the most demanding years of your life so far, and an extra congrats for tackling the beast that is step 1. I'm honored to welcome you to your 3rd year and share some insight before you begin your clerkships. I was fortunate to be part of Wayne State's inaugural Clinician ceremony last year. And like our white coat ceremony our first year, attending this event reinvigorated my devotion to medicine and helped me better understand my forthcoming role as a 3rd-year medical student beginning my clinical training. One of the greatest aspects of medicine is the collegiality that naturally forms within the hospital. Whether you're getting verbally accosted by a patient experiencing psychosis with your intern in the ED, or delivering a newborn on OBGYN, you'll build a shared sense of purpose with your team by caring for the lives of others. Medicine requires teamwork and professionalism. You may not get along with everyone, trust me, but maintaining composure and treating all colleagues with respect will take you far, both in your career and in life. Beyond the professional relationships, this year is also about building friendships. With such a large class, it's very easy to miss out on meeting people. One of the best part of 3rd year for me was forming new relationships with classmates, many of whom I didn't even know existed before meeting them on rotations. You'll spend long hours with 1 or 2 other M3s on your same rotation, and these bonds, along with the relationships you build with residents and attendings, will help shape your path in medicine. Of course, this year comes with highs and lows. One of the biggest challenges as a fresh medical student in the hospital or clinic is feeling useless. Surrounded by brilliant and experienced physicians, it's easy to solely focus on what you don't know. And when that feeling creeps in, take a deep breath, take a step back, and remind yourself you do belong here. I want to share a meaningful experience that I had just last week while on the internal medicine inpatient floors. I was following a patient who was admitted for recurrent syncope and incidentally found to have a cavitary lung lesion on imaging. He was short-tempered, but a reasonable guy, and by day 3, I'd grown pretty fond of him. When our team ruled out tuberculosis, but we couldn't really explain the mass still, we consulted cardiothoracic surgery for a potential biopsy. The next day, I was surprised to see in their note that the patient refused the procedure. From the conversations that I'd had with him, that didn't seem like him. So after rounds, I stopped by his room to learn more about what had happened. He told me that he felt confused about the procedure and was frustrated with how it was explained. Knowing a bit more about how my patient communicates, I took the next 10-15 minutes to explain what concerns us about his lung mass, to describe what the procedure would be and what it would look like for him, and then to answer any of his questions. And by the end of our conversation, he agreed to the surgery. While I may not have been the one who found the mass or performed the biopsy, I played a role in his care. Medicine is a team effort, and as a student, you will make a difference, no matter the size. With this privilege comes serious responsibility. Our actions reflect not just Wayne State, but also the kind of physician that you'll become. So starting next week, you're all going to begin the active process of forming who you will become as a future doctor. This right here is the reason that we came to medical school in the first place. As you begin your rotations, you'll finally have the opportunity to put years of hard-earned knowledge into practice, treating patients, educating others, and advocating for those who need it most. Your responsibilities will mirror those of a resident. So, I encourage you to show up on time, even if it's 5:30 in the morning in the dead of winter for surgery. Maintain a positive, inquisitive attitude, and always ask where you can help out. Engaging with your residents by asking questions, offering the help, and building connections with them. Remember, they were just in our shoes a couple years ago. And this approach will earn you incredible clinical opportunities and even better evals. Actively seek out feedback in order to recognize your strengths and your areas of improvement. One big thing I recommend is don't prematurely decide on a specialty solely based on its prestige or reputation. I know it sounds corny, but follow what makes you excited and passionate. While remaining open-minded to every field of medicine that you experience, you need to, at the end of the day, listen to your gut. And for God's sake, put the Anki and UWorld down for just 1 minute and be fully present for your patients and their cases. Treat every patient with the kindness and respect that you'd want for a loved one of yours. Of course, when there's downtime, get some work done. However, one thing I've noticed this past year is that the concepts that I never miss on an exam are the ones that I've seen and managed in real life at work. And last but not least, fake it till you make it. Imposter syndrome is very real, even for me as a cis white male. But you're here because you're intelligent, empathetic, and you're capable. Go with the flow, stay open to learning, and you'll surprise yourself with what you can do. Although exhausting, this will be one of the most memorable and rewarding years of your Wayne training if you put in the effort that's expected of you. Take these next few days to reflect on your accomplishments, spend some time doing things that you love, and begin mentally preparing for the next chapter in your journey to becoming an outstanding Wayne-trained physician. Congrats again, and best of luck to you all.
So yes, imposter syndrome is real, but you're the real deal. I know that, and I know all of you are as well. So thank you, Jackson, for that. And I now invite our very last speaker to the podium, Ms. Kia Sweeney. She's the president of the Gold Humanism Honor Society.
Hi, everyone. I can literally remember sitting where you were a year ago and all the different thoughts that were running through my mind. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I going to remember all the things that I need to remember? How in the world am I going to be able to wake up at like 4 a.m., drive to where I need to go, park, be on the floors by 5:30 for like a surgery rotation or OB-GYN rotation, and all the other anxious thoughts that went through my mind. So that's you. I literally was just there. So don't be afraid. It's going to be okay. I want you to know that you have everything that it takes to succeed. I know that for many of you, you may be the first in your family to become physicians. Other people, maybe not. But whichever path you're on, you can do this. You have a team of people who will support you. Me as a peer will support you, and many other students will support you, okay? So I just wanted to highlight that. Also, I wanted to tell you that some of the most important things that you can lean on is being compassionate and caring and dedicated to your patients. If you do that, you will excel, and those qualities will take you very far. So yes, you need the medical knowledge, but you also need to be a good person and be present for your patients. As my peer just said, you know, you have time for Anki and U World, but if you're not there, you're gonna miss a lot, and you're gonna not connect with patients the way that we should. So, as mentioned, I'm the president of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. The qualities that I'm talking about are the things that this organization cares most about. So if that's you, I want you to know that there is an organization that leans deep into those qualities, and you will have an opportunity to apply. So first you have to be nominated by peers or by faculty, and then you'll have an opportunity, if selected, to actually apply. The application gets reviewed, and then only 15% of your class will be selected. It is a competitive process, but if you put your heart into it, you could be successful. Applications come out in around November or December, so be on the lookout. So to close, I just want to emphasize that I remember sitting where you were, being a part of this ceremony, having all these different thoughts, but also being motivated, also being excited, all these other things. But what I want you to do is keep in mind what we just talked about today. Those pledges that we just said, they really do matter. It's going to make you an amazing physician. It's going to help your third year go by in a way that's meaningful and not where you're just dreading it and tired and exhausted. You can do this, but just lean into the best parts of third year, okay? And with that, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Wonderful, thank you. And it's a really just great organization. So thank you, class of 2027. You've been more than attentive today, and I know you've taken a lot home with you. All the people on stage, I want to say thank you. I think I counted out about 15 different specialties represented on stage, which is pretty cool. So we have a wide array of people who are going to help you usher you through the next year as well. So take advantage of us, tap into us, get to know us, and we will work with you to get you there as well. So before we conclude, I do want to thank my staff who really worked super hard behind the scenes to make this a special and memorable day for you. And it's pretty typical. I never see them, except when they're setting up and doing all the stuff. They were here last night. And I also want to thank Matt Guerin and Mike for being here for the photography. Yeah, and family and friends who were with us, streaming online, watching, and I know you're all out there rooting for your favorite medical student, favorite future doctor, and we need you. We need you on the outside, and we'll do our stuff from the inside and together, and you guys just do your thing, and we'll all get to the finish line. So thank you again for this wonderful day. Have a wonderful afternoon, and God bless you.